Welcome to New Hampshire Politics with John Burt. I'm John Burt. I want to thank you for joining us today. And today we have a very famous representative from Ware, New Hampshire, and it's Gary Hopper. And you represent Ware and Deering.
And Deering, both
Yes.
at the same time. It's very, yeah.
Now, well, welcome to the show.
Hey, John.
Now, I understand Deering, that town never sleeps. It's party central, and they just keep moving.
I don't know. I stay out of it. It's kind of scary.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
No, I did good in Ware when I ran up there.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
You did very well.
Yeah, it seems like people,
Well, it helps. It helps that your opponent voted against the Second Amendment too.
It did, and
That
I
it was
pointed
very
that
helpful.
out.
That was very kind of her.
Yes.
And it's funny because it was Evelyn Connor, and I really like Evelyn. She's a
Well, a
she's
lot
a
of people
very
do.
nice lady.
Yep.
And I went up to her on the House floor. I said, Evelyn, you have to understand, and Ware specifically, the Second Amendment is like the third rail of politics.
It is.
It is just like there's a lot of things you can vote against or for, and nobody cares.
Yeah.
But as soon as you vote against the Second Amendment, you might as well just shoot yourself
Yeah.
because you're shooting yourself right in the foot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I sent a mailer to everybody up in Ware and Deering, and about 3/4 of Goffstown. Then I ran out of money.
Right.
Yeah. And so just pointing out, here's the Second Amendment issues that I supported and fought,
Yeah.
and here's my opponent. You
Right.
have a choice.
Yep.
And
It's pretty clear.
yeah. So then the voters seem to swing my way.
Yeah, that's actually one of the times I had a little bit of a hard time was when New Hampshire Firearms Coalition came out and attacked me.
Yeah, and that's surprising because
Well,
you're pretty pro Second Amendment.
Yeah, well, New Hampshire Firearms Coalition is pretty much a pain in the you-know-what. I'll tell you what happened. Okay, this is 2008. After that election, the Democrats won the House.
So just before me.
Just before you, so it's 8, and you get in there. The first
it'd be
year you're
9
in is
and 10.
9 and 10.
Yep.
Okay, so in 2009 or 10, I do not recall which, there was a legislation in at that time I was still working full time, so I was in the Fish and Game Committee. In the Fish and Game Committee, and there was a bill to, I don't know if people know it, you should know it, but it's illegal to have a loaded long weapon in your vehicle loaded. Period.
I did learn that
You did learn that
as I was a state rep.
before you got arrested for it. So,
Yeah. No, before I used to do it.
right. So anyway, it is illegal to have a rifle or shotgun loaded in the vehicle. In fact, the weapon and the ammunition should be quite a bit separate,
Yeah.
so that they don't give you any grief. And a muzzle loader, it's okay to have a powder in the barrel and a lead ball or a slug in the barrel, but you're not allowed to have a primer
Oh, okay.
on the weapon
Yeah.
so that it can't inadvertently go off. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
So if you take the muzzle loader out of the vehicle, you can put a primer on, then shoot. But they also realize the inconvenience of trying to take the lead ball that's been pressed into the barrel out every single time you left the vehicle
Yes.
or got in the vehicle. So anyway, there's a new type of muzzleloader that came out back around that time that had an electronic ignition for muzzleloaders. So the Fish and Game Committee wanted to update the laws to accommodate the new ignition system, which is all well and good. We didn't have a problem with that. But what Dave Wheeler and the New Hampshire Firearms Coalition, which J.R. Hole was the secretary, I believe, or
Yes.
the
Yeah.
treasurer, I forget which. Anyway, Dave Wheeler called me up, and because myself and Mike McCarthy from Nashua were the most conservative members of that committee that term, easily. It's not even close. As far as pro-Second Amendment people, Mike and I were it.
Wow.
Okay? So they called me up. Dave called me up and said, Gary, would like you to amend that bill to eliminate any restrictions on firearms in the vehicle.
Yeah, I'd support that.
I know you would. This is where you and I disagree. But I don't think you'll disagree with I think you'll disagree with how they handled it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I thought about it. I understood what they do because I talked to Dave about it, and what he was concerned with was if you're on your ATV or tractor, especially a tractor, if you talk to any of the farmers, they want to have something with them in case they see a woodchuck or something that's screwing their crop up.
Yes. Yeah.
So that they can pick it up off the tractor and take a shot. They always used to do that.
Yes.
You know,
I've done it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not unnormal or out of the pale to do these things. In today's society, people go, "Oh no, you're going to shoot the poor little furry thing." So anyway,
that is true.
so Dave Wheeler said, if I'm on my tractor on my land, it's still illegal for me to have that rifle ready. Or if you're in a boat, a motorboat, or a boat with a motor, which could be a sailboat, it's still illegal to have the shotgun ready. If you're in a large boat, like near the ocean,
Yeah.
you might a lot of guys have like a marine shotgun to defend themselves against people who might try to break into your cabin or whatever in the middle of the night.
Oh, so even if the boat's sitting empty?
Oh, it's illegal. It's
with the motor off?
Oh, sure.
Ah.
That's very illegal.
Well, how can you defend yourself then? Well, with a pistol.
Vaseline.
Oh, that's going to be nice.
Yeah. So, no, if you get a pistol permit in New Hampshire, you can carry a pistol loaded in anywhere, basically, except for federal buildings and such. At any rate, so they approached me and said, we want to get rid of any restrictions. And I gave it a lot of thought, and I understood what they wanted to do. And I said, so I came up with a compromise that A, because I agree with it, and B, because I thought if there was a snowball's chance in hell of getting something through, this could do it. And so what I did was change the definition of a loaded weapon. Okay, this is the compromise. So in other words, instead of saying the firearm, the rifle or shotgun couldn't have any ammunition in it,
Yeah.
it changed it. The law would have changed to you can't have any rounds in the chamber of a shotgun or rifle, in which case it would be considered loaded and be illegal. Now, with the change, what that would do would be make that shotgun and or rifle available to the guy in the tractor or the guy in the truck or the guy in the RV or on a boat, because now it's ready to go. All you have to do is rack one into the chamber and you can defend yourself. Okay?
So the gun could be loaded full of bullets, except for not one in the chamber.
Not one in the chamber. And the reason I compromised with that is because if the law had passed the way they wanted, you know how like some guys have their guns they don't do it as much anymore, but guns in the gun rack.
Yeah, in the back window. Yeah.
Okay. See, there's a profound difference between you having a 9mm on your hip in your car and having a .300 Winchester Magnum in the back window.
Yeah.
If the 9mm goes off in your vehicle, the greatest probability is it will never leave that vehicle. The bullet will lodge itself in the dashboard or something. It probably hurt you.
Yeah.
But that's whatever. That's your own darn fault. So who cares? You know.
Yeah.
But a .300 Winchester Magnum, to give you, and I might have my numbers wrong, but something to the effect of a 9mm. If that goes off, that hits out. When you look at ballistics, they talk about foot-pounds of energy.
Yes.
And when a bullet hits, how much foot-pounds of energy it hits with. A 9mm, which is a reasonable or common bullet that people would use for self-defense in a handgun, puts out about 350 foot-pounds of energy. A .300 Winchester Magnum puts out 3,500 foot-pounds of energy. So if you have a loaded rifle in the back window with a round in the chamber, and people know that guns do go off, something falls against the trigger or something like that. Well, that bullet isn't stopping at the side of that vehicle. It's going to keep going.
Yeah.
So if you're driving along and you hit a bump or something like that, and construction site or whatever, that bullet can go right through the side of your truck, through the window or whatever of vehicles that are like on 93 that are traveling next to you. It's not stopping for a long time.
Well, so this is a Democrat-controlled House.
Right.
How did they like your amendment?
They still didn't like it, of course.
Yeah.
But it set the groundwork, because one of the problems we have as Republicans is we're not willing to take incremental victories.
I know, yeah.
We have lost our liberties
Yeah.
by incrementally taking them away, but nobody
by
is
piece.
willing to go piece by piece to take them back. They want the whole enchilada.
Yeah.
So anyway, because I did not do what New Hampshire Firearms Coalition told me to do, even though I presented them something which was, I thought, a very good compromise
Yeah.
and possibly passable, at least not then, but maybe the next year, they attacked me in the next election. When you ran against me, they attacked me.
Wow.
And
yeah.
no, you didn't run against me. I'm sorry. When you ran,
No, I ran with you.
With me, yeah.
Yes.
When you ran
In
with
10,
me in
yeah.
10, they attacked me
Oh,
because I didn't do what I was told.
yeah.
They weren't willing to say, okay, well, if that's the best we can do, let's fight for it,
Yeah.
which is what they should do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you read their website, New Hampshire Firearms Coalition, it'll tell you no compromise.
Yeah.
That's what they mean. In other words, if you don't do what we're told, so they become almost like a super legislator.
Huh.
If everybody did what they were told, then obviously you're not representing the people anymore. You're representing New Hampshire Firearms Coalition.
Yeah.
So they attacked me, and it wasn't the first time.
Huh.
So I had to go to my gun club and Goffstown Fish and Game, which is in Ware.
Yes. Yeah.
And somebody was asking me, say, hey, we got this letter from NHFC. What's going on? I told them exactly what I did. Says, oh, okay, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people, I'm sure, in town
Yeah.
that got that same letter and said, well, I thought he was pro-Second Amendment. What the heck's going on? Because they don't get the context,
Yes.
But anyway, I don't know. Why did I bring that up? I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember now.
Anyway, that was the only time I've been attacked about my Second Amendment stand, so to speak, in Ware. But
No, I used to have a
fought
loaded rifle in the truck, and I just didn't.
yeah, that's not okay.
Never
I don't know what
go
the
now.
statute of limitations is. How long ago was that, and where were you?
Oh, it was at least 60 years ago.
60 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, even though
All
I'm
right.
56, but I was young.
Yeah, very young.
Yes, yeah.
You were
You know.
unborn yet.
Yes, way before
That's
any
good.
laws.
Right. Any laws.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I did want to bring up, and let me see what day this paper is. It's Thursday, July 21st, 2016. And guess who's on the bottom half of the front page?
Bottom half.
Yeah, still, it's pretty close to the top half.
That is close. It's
Yeah.
front page.
It is. Our good friend, Representative Al Baldessaro.
My hero.
Well, let me tell you, and I'm glad you brought this because I want to tell the viewers, I'm sure they've heard about it anyways, but I
I
want
told John I got a runny nose, so if anybody's offended by me,
Yeah.
well, whatever.
Well, I want to tell the viewers about what the news is reporting.
Yes.
And then I want to read the actual quote of what he said. And there's a difference. I am shocked over that.
No way.
Yeah,
Really? There's a difference?
I thought the press would not lie to us, the media.
No, really? Yeah,
Yeah.
me neither. I
Yeah.
never realized that they would completely distort the truth to forward a certain agenda. That's really strange.
That is, yeah, very, very foreign to me.
It is, yeah.
Well, our good friend Representative Al Baldessaro saying that Hillary Clinton, quote, should be put in the firing line and shot for treason, unquote. Now, when I heard that, I thought to myself, oh, Al, I really like you. And, I love when you come out with this kind of stuff, but Yeah, maybe that one's a little heavy.
That's a little tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tough to take.
Well, but one nice thing is, remember Mrs. Trump? They were beating her up for trying to copycat.
I didn't even pay attention to that because it was just.
Well, the news media haven't even mentioned her in the past couple days.
I don't even know what happened with that. What?
Oh,
I didn't even care. So.
Yeah. Well, I guess what happened is the speechwriter. I guess everybody has a speechwriter except for me.
Yeah, except you and I. Yeah.
They called up and they said to Mrs. Trump, they said, "Who inspired you?" And she said one of them was Mrs. Obama.
Right.
In her speech. And she says, well, here's a few quotes. And she says, I love those quotes.
Right.
The speechwriter has since come out to all the media, only a few have reported, of course.
Right.
Said, you know what, it's my fault. I should have made sure that, what was said here, what was said there, and we didn't repeat it, or
at least give credit. In
yes.
other words, say, I agree with Michelle Obama when she said, and then
yes.
say it. But
yeah. So here's Mrs. Trump, just up there giving a great speech.
Right.
Now, what most people on the Republican side said, and I agree with this, who is more believable? Now, I don't believe much that comes out of Mrs. Obama. She's never been proud of America until her husband was elected.
Right.
Mrs. Trump has always been proud of America. She knows what America stands for.
Yeah.
So when she said these things, I'm like, yeah, no. And it's things that I say to my grandkids, like do good, kids. Be the best you can. It's America. You can do anything you want.
It's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
It's an amazing place to live.
Yeah. So really what she said is just common words that we say to our grandkids. And
how many people are trying to break into Canada?
Yes. Yeah.
5?
Yeah, maybe
year?
6. Well, I heard next year when Trump gets elected, this year, in November,
right,
there's going to be a lot of them that are leaving.
Right, until they realize they're leaving all their money behind. They go, wait a minute.
Yeah, yeah. Well, is it Ginsburg?
Maybe I was a bit hasty.
Ginsburg, Supreme Court Justice Ginsburg
Oh,
said she's
yeah.
moving. Where is she moving to?
I don't know.
But I'll help buy the ticket if she
Oh,
wants.
no, I know.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the thing that she said that was so hypocritical was, I don't know if people are aware of it, but anyway, Ginsburg said that, Trump was too rash and all these other things, and she could never serve under a president like that, and she would move. Something to that effect. I don't recall. Yeah, I know, right? So anyway, so she comes out like a few days afterwards. Trump attacks her because she drew first blood.
And Trump does like doing that.
Oh, he does.
Yeah,
You don't attack Trump unless you're expecting something in return. I think I should attack Trump just to get in the paper for Christ's sake.
Oh yes, yeah.
I don't know what I'd come up with, but anyway. So she turns around and apologizes for saying things without thinking about them first.
And she's our Supreme Court justice.
Right, but think about that. She's upset with Trump because he says things without saying things, without thinking about it.
I didn't put
And then she apologizes for doing exactly what she is just, I thought it was very comical.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but let me read the full quote that you...
Oh, this is the actual quote of what...
Yeah, this is what...
my mentor said.
Yeah, Representative Baldessaro, which has been on this show a few times via Skype. I think he's been up here once. And
really?
Then after that, he goes on Skype a couple times. I got to get him back on. Quote, "The whole thing disgusts me," said Representative Al Baldessaro, referring to the handling of the 2012 Benghazi attack. Hillary Clinton, quote, "Hillary Clinton should be put in a firing line and shot for treason," unquote. But it's the top part that the media is not reporting. The whole thing disgusts me. When you add that to the sentence, what he said,
yeah,
it's still a little heavy.
Still harsh, but true.
It's
absolutely true.
It's not, it softens it because he's just, he's saying this is, she should be,
right.
Which, everybody says. and I agree with, she should be behind bars.
Should be in shackles right now.
Yeah.
This is what I responded with. It was going on Facebook. It was the New Hampshire Propaganda Radio has a Facebook page, and they're all tooling on Al. So I worded this deliberately with my first words were Al Baldessaro is wrong. And the reason I did that is to get the liberals to start reading it, because normal people will tend to want to read things that they agree with.
Yes.
Okay? So I deliberately started it out that way. This is what I said. I posted it last night. Al Baldessaro was wrong. Although Ms. Clinton did willfully compromise the security of this country and the men and women who defend her by having a private server, regardless of the fact that she lied to the families of the brave men who died needlessly in Benghazi, and to further enrich her deceit, had the man who made the movie arrested and jailed. In spite of all that, Representative Al Baldessaro is wrong. A firing squad is far too dignified for someone who has committed such profound and willful treason.
Yeah. And did you get responses?
I don't know.
Oh, you didn't go back and look?
Didn't see any. I didn't go back and look, no.
Oh, I figured they'd attack you.
Oh, I hope so. I'm looking forward to it. But I mean, you look at that whole thing.
Oh.
And it is so much BS. Let me ask you this.
Well, you and I would be in jail.
Well, I would like anybody who is listening to this, who believes that Hillary accidentally did what she did, because that's the argument, right?
Yeah.
She just made a mistake.
Yep.
And she, veined.
Not willful.
Veined ignorance of the entire internet when she said, "Oh, when somebody asked her if she had wiped the server clean. Oh, you mean like with a cloth?"
Yeah.
Okay. This is so much BS. Yeah. Let me put it this way: she was first lady,
yes.
Correct?
Yes.
If she was first lady, she should have had, I would presume they had,
that's true,
a briefing on security issues and top secret information, and if she saw any, to make sure how to deal with it. I presume everybody that works in the White House has that.
Well, and being elected senator.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
Then she was elected senator of the state from the state of New York. Again, she would have had a briefing on how to treat secret information.
Yes.
And how to protect it.
Yep.
Then she became Secretary of State and would have had a third briefing. Okay, so she has to have been, unless the people who support Clinton want to go under the premise that she is a complete moron and that she is, has the IQ of a goat.
Yeah.
Not to say anything bad about goats. I'm not trying to say things bad about goats.
Yeah, because there are people
There are, yeah, I know, goat are people too. Anyway, you have to presume she understood the necessity for keeping top secret information secret.
Yeah.
Or else they wouldn't call it top secret.
Yes.
They would call it open for, public view. So she understood that, right? So then she said for simplicity, she created her private server, right?
Yes.
Have you ever created a private server?
Do
you have any clue how complicated that is?
Very.
When our state government gives us our emails, legislative email.
Yep.
How hard would it be for you and I to set up a separate email account just to get all the legislative stuff also?
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
It's
I don't know
a
how you
private
do it.
server,
Yeah.
not just email, but private server. We wouldn't even know where to begin.
Yep.
So she hired somebody just to create a private server for her to filter all these emails back and forth, top secret information, all right?
Yes.
And she claims it was for simplicity's sake.
Yeah.
That's complicated, because before the government was doing it for her if she wanted it to,
Yes.
all right?
Yeah.
So that's a lie.
Yeah.
Then she said it was because she wanted to do everything on one device.
Yes.
Comey testified before Congress that she had multiple devices.
Yes.
That was also a lie. So to believe that this was just an accident or non-deliberate is insane. Because not only would she have had to go out of her way to do everything she did,
Yeah.
she also had to understand the necessity to keep secrets secret. And even if she was that stupid, she still had an entourage of people making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year with, big fancy degrees, all of which should have, or most of them did have, top secret clearances, and absolutely positively knew that what she was doing was wrong.
Yes.
That it was illegal,
Yep.
that it jeopardized the security of this country. There is no way that was an accident. That was willful, deliberate, it was treasonous. And there's not a person out there that can look in the mirror or look to anybody in their family that's been in the military, look them in the eye and say, what would happen if you got caught doing this?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What would happen if, Jane up the street, if her son was in the military and started filtering all kinds of secret information on a private server?
Yeah.
What would happen to that soldier?
He would have been tried for treason.
He would have been tried for, it would have been amazing.
Yeah.
It is so profoundly perverse for somebody like that, because their name is Clinton and because they have inside information on all these politicians in D.C., and that's why nothing was done.
Yeah.
It has absolutely nothing to do with the charges.
Nope.
The charges were clear. It was clear she had violated the law. It was clear it was willful. But what we don't know is why they cleared her. And why they cleared her is the real story.
It is.
The real story, John, is that she had a private server for one purpose, and that purpose was she was making deals with foreign governments to get more and more money filtered into the Clinton Foundation, which is the Clinton slush fund.
Hundreds of millions.
Hundreds of millions of dollars from Qatar, from Saudi Arabia, from this guy to possibly selling secrets. I think it's possible that she allowed this to be vulnerable in exchange for so that other countries could figure out what was going on, in exchange for favors to the Clinton Foundation.
Yes.
And if you check the Clinton Foundation, guess how much money actually goes out to anything? It's like a minuscule amount.
Oh, yeah.
It's all a slush fund for the Clintons. Yeah. That's all it is. This is about power and money. And the reason nothing happened is because too many other people are doing the same thing. Yeah. And that's what the truth, I am sure that's what the truth is.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we're going to take a small break, but I do want to talk about...
I was just getting revved up, John.
Yes,
getting revved
well,
up.
We're going to take a real quick break. When we get back, I do want to talk about Black Lives Matter. But then I also want to talk about Chris Matthews.
Black flies or black lives?
What do they go by now? Oh, lives.
Lives,
yeah. Yeah. Does state rep lives matter?
No.
Oh,
no.
okay.
No.
Yeah. I just wanted to know.
No.
But I want to talk about Chris Matthews.
That's wishful thinking.
And the Benghazi's mom there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about that when we get back. So we'll be right back, and make sure you stay tuned. Welcome back, and again, we're talking with Representative Gary Hopper up in Ware.
Oh yeah, you forgot.
What?
Host of Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades also.
That's true.
In Manchester.
And they can
It's on
find you on, is it YouTube or is it on?
It's on YouTube, it's on Vimeo. I have a Facebook page, so you can usually link on the old videos there too, so.
I'll have to go look.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know if I'm friends on that page with you.
You don't? You should have been liking Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades so you get notices and stuff.
Because I was just on the
I know
other
you
day.
were. You were on yesterday.
Yes.
Well, yesterday a long time ago, as my grandson used to say.
Yes. But I did want to talk about Chris Matthews, one of the dead gentlemen, as far as I'm concerned, that Hillary, failed and ended up getting the guy,
definitely failed, if nothing else.
The guy ended up dead.
Yeah.
One of the moms went on there
spoke at the
GOP convention.
Yeah.
And why did they have it in Cleveland?
I don't know. Why don't they have it someplace conservative if they can have a GOP convention?
Why
not in New Hampshire?
Millions and millions and hundreds of
Why
millions.
Why don't they have it in New Hampshire?
Yeah, put it at the Verizon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it just didn't make any sense. Well, Chris Matthews has been beating her up, and he's on MSNBC, which shocks me that he's still there because I'm shocked that they're even still on the air.
Well, I think you get more viewers than MSNBC does at this point. So.
Oh, I think so too. I think my viewers in Goffstown, I think
probably outnumber all of MSNBC. Yeah, that's I think kept on the air just for propaganda purposes more than anything else. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, Chris Matthews is beating her up. Saying how she's wrong, and I'm going, look, this is the mom of a dead guy.
Well,
and you're going to beat her up?
Well, the thing is if she was alone, you could almost say, okay, maybe she misunderstood. And to give the backstory.
Yes.
Okay, to give the backstory, what happened after Benghazi unfolded, Obama and Hillary were trying to do damage control.
Yes.
Because it was right before the election, and Obama was trying to put forward that his plan, if you want to call it that, for the Middle East was working out, and the terrorists and Islamists were on the run, but he would never use that word. Gosh, no.
Yeah.
Anyway, they were on the run. Everything's going good.
Well, and it was a video that some guy out in...
Have you ever seen the video?
Minnesota or somewhere like that made. So they arrested him,
Well, see, that's just it. So right after that, even though Hillary, if you look at her emailed, I think it was the leader of Egypt at the time and her own daughter, and said there was a terrorist attack. They both turned around and they went on and had people come on the circuit to explain to everybody that it was a spontaneous attack brought about because of a viral movie that was put on the internet.
Yes.
Well, if you actually watch that movie, if you take the time, maybe you don't want to, skim through it. It's a movie about Muhammad, and it's really, really badly done. It's ridiculously bad. It's almost, how like when we were little, we used to watch the Japanese movies about Godzilla and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Worse than that.
Really?
It's actually quite a bit worse than that.
Anyway, I did like Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was very badly done. It had nothing to do with what happened in Benghazi, but they wanted to get elected, so they had to say that it wasn't terrorism.
Yeah.
That's all that was. It was a lie.
Yep.
So when the bodies came back from Benghazi, the guys who died and fought there without getting any support from Hillary, which they were on the phone, help, and they said, we're busy,
Yeah. Or did they even
Which
answer
is
the
funny
phone?
because remember Hillary Clinton's argument why she should be president in 2008? She had the experience that if somebody were to call at 3 o'clock in the morning, who do you want to be there? Somebody inexperienced like Barack Obama or somebody who's been there?
Yeah.
That was one of her major arguments why she should be president of the United States. Because what are you going to do at 3 o'clock in the morning? Well, now we know what she will do at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
She'll be coming up with alibis at 3 o'clock in the morning why this is okay, instead of trying to help the guys. So these guys, their bodies come back. They're on the tarmac. Hillary Clinton walked up to the parents of these guys that died in Benghazi needlessly and said, the guy who made that, because they had already said the lie about the movie, the guy who made that movie, we're going to get him. That's what she said.
Wow.
And she said that to more than one parent, or Obama did, or both.
Yeah.
But that was repeated to different members of the different parents. And so not only did they lie about it, they actually went after the guy who made the movie. He was arrested and jailed.
Yes, I remember that.
So think about this. Before you elect a president, do you really want to elect a president that has already lied about something and is willing to put somebody in jail to forward that lie?
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not saying yes to that, but that's exactly what happened.
Exactly what happened.
Because, the viewer, me, any of us could be sitting in jail.
Absolutely. She will
her
put
lies.
whoever or how many ever people in jail to perpetuate a lie and that's why I say MSNBC is just a mouthpiece for the propaganda machine.
Yep, that's all it is. Well, that's what most of them are. Real quickly, I did want to bring up, only because because I want to talk about Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Again, I think this is on the 21st of July, Thursday, and it's how do you say it, Pokemon Go?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? All right.
Pokemon Go.
I just look at it and go, all right, these are adults.
Some of them.
Yeah, I guess there are some small kids.
Yeah, there's some young people.
But a lot of them, what you see on the news media, getting run over by cars, 2 of them walking off cliffs. And we really...
Ruh-roh.
I probably... My God, I feel bad laughing.
John, that's not funny.
I know. But didn't they ever watch... You know what? They don't have Bugs Bunny on anymore.
Right. I know.
How did you and I watch Bugs Bunny, the rock falling on, Coyote?
No, you got the wrong one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But how did we know that?
Roadrunner, buddy.
The Roadrunner. How did we know that that wasn't real? You and
Are you
I...
sure it wasn't real?
I never jumped under a rock because I knew if I was under a rock, I'm going to get hurt.
Right, because you watched it on TV. You saw it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And so here's these people falling off cliffs playing this game, and I'm just looking, going, "Oh my God, what have we come to?" And you know how I am against government.
I look at it completely different. I look at this completely different. Most of the people you see playing Pokemon Go have been trapped in their basement for years. To me, if you see somebody playing Pokemon Go in the streets, because you see them in Goffstown.
Are they really?
Oh, yeah.
They're here.
Oh, yeah. They're everywhere.
Oh, my God.
It's like the zombie apocalypse, right? But if you see it is like the zombie, because if you see them, they have very, very pale white skin.
Ah.
What you should do is offer them something to drink, because they're probably not used to getting dehydrated or having liquid around, and sunscreen, because they're going to hurt themselves.
Yes.
Okay? Because let's look at it this way. You have a bunch of geeky guys and girls who are actually getting out and getting some exercise.
Well, now, as government officials, as we are,
That's
representatives,
yes.
should we introduce a law?
Oh, we have to introduce all kinds of laws
to
for
protect
this one.
these people.
Yes, exactly.
Because that's usually what the government does. It always says, this law is to protect
If we save one child, then we got to introduce this legislation.
Yeah, if we save 2 people from falling off cliffs playing Pokemon Go.
Yes, this is worth it.
Yes.
No, we shouldn't introduce anything. Let them have fun. I think it's pretty darn harmless. I mean, if you go worldwide, it's so popular. Yes, some people are going to get hurt, but they do that skateboarding too.
That's true.
So you finally get these guys out from in their mom's basement, Let them.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get used to the fresh air and want to stay out more often.
But I'm trying to think, what do they call it? Developers of Pokemon Go? Could they possibly, at the end of the game, when they get to a certain level, I don't know the game, but if you get to a certain level, it says, get a job to continue.
That's hate speech, John.
Oh, that's
I'm pretty
true.
sure that's hate speech.
But maybe a few of them would go and get a real job instead of and leave mom's basement.
That's not happening.
So
and that's actually generalizing. There's a lot of them that are actually do have regular jobs. They just love doing it. It's like collecting any. It's like almost in legitimately, it's almost like when we were kids. I don't know about you, but I always used to like tip over rocks.
Yes.
Because I always thought maybe there'd be treasure underneath.
Oh, I found a lot of treasures underneath
You did?
rocks.
Yeah, I usually found snails and stuff.
Well, those were the treasures.
Oh, okay.
Salamanders.
Salamanders.
Whoa,
yeah,
look
exactly.
at this.
Oh, that's cool. Bait. So, anyway, I think it's the same kind of this part of our psyche that wants to uncover things and find things that are hidden, and I think it's all pretty darn harmless.
Yeah, well,
So I think it's
until
cool.
the kid falls off a cliff.
Whatever.
Yeah. So a few people falling off cliffs is just the price of doing business.
Price of doing business. I mean, kids fall off their skateboards and stuff like that. So what?
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about our friends over in the Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter. I want to put forward to you a suggestion, a theory. What would it, you remember? I don't know if you were there, but in 2009, I went down to the brain just went dead. The patriotic celebration in D.C. The media.
Yes.
What was it called?
Yeah, I can't remember, but yes.
Live free or die type stuff, whatever. Tea Party. Sorry, yeah, Tea Party rally in Washington, D.C., 2009. The media tried to make that about racism.
Yep.
That everybody hated Barack Obama because he was black. They are lying. That was never what it was about.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with Barack Obama. It had everything to do with the federal takeover of the healthcare system.
Yes.
It had everything to do with the federal government bailing out Goldman Sachs and spending our tax. In other words, the little peons that work 40 hours a week are now paying off people that make $500,000 a year.
Well, our great grandkids are going to pay that.
Oh yeah,
we're
exactly.
Not,
so
because we borrowed the money from China.
So it was a protest against Obama, Dianne Feinstein, Harry Reid, Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
It was a protest against the entire thing. Yeah. It had nothing to do specifically about Obama or what color he was.
No.
Now think about that, the Tea Party. If the Tea Party, what would have happened? What would have been the reaction if now keep in mind there's 500,000 people showed up for that Tea Party rally in 2009.
Well, but the media only reported 10,000.
Yeah, I know. I was on the way back listening to national propaganda radio.
Yeah.
They spent more time talking about the Williams sister who won a tennis tournament than they did talking about the Tea Party.
Well, they are very talented.
They're actually talented ladies, but still, they deliberately, because I don't know if people know that, but that's what they do, the liberals do. If they can't beat an argument, they'll either make it about personality, in this case they made it anti-Barack Obama because he's black, and if they can't do it that way, they just don't report it.
Yes.
Or they underreport it.
Yep.
That's another thing they do. So they completely underreported. There was 500,000 people down there. You know what one of the cool things was? 0 arrests.
Yeah.
0 trash.
Yep.
They didn't have to go clean up anything. It wasn't like the 1% people in New York or wherever where they trashed everything. No, that did not happen. It did not happen. Now, if you take those Tea Party people, what would have happened if they had blocked Route 95?
Oh. They would have
sent out the National Guard to get us off the cotton-picking roads.
Yeah, they would have shot the first one in the front line, and then
they would have absolutely gone ballistic.
Yeah.
because the news report would have racist, block Route 95. That's what would have been the headlines. It's just like what they did to Al Baldessaro. They would have done exactly the same thing. They would have painted us as so horrible. But nope, not with the Black Lives Matter. You know, they're peace loving.
They're not even arresting them.
No.
For blocking a highway.
No, you got people that are dying waiting for ambulances to get through or get to doctor's appointments and everything else.
Yep.
No, doesn't matter.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. They're compromising
Yeah.
safety of everybody involved for having a protest that's
Well,
illegal.
but then the Black Lives Matter, some, not all, are saying shoot policemen. You know, why aren't they screaming about that?
Well, the real issue, if you look into Black Lives Matter, the real issue is violence in the black community. Okay? Now, police have to go in there, and some of the police, by the way, that are getting in trouble are black.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay? Let's take Chicago. You got a black mayor. I think you have a black council.
Yep.
You had the black police chief, I believe. I'm not sure about that. A lot of black police officers. You know what their problem is? They have to try to control a completely out of control society.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with guns because they have the strictest gun control in the country. Some of the strictest gun laws in the country are in Chicago.
Yep.
Okay, so is it guns? No, it's got nothing to do with guns. You know what it has to do with? It's very, very simple. The Democratic Party has, I will say deliberately, because it's hard to think that they're so stupid that they didn't see it coming, but even if it's not deliberate, they have inadvertently, let's say that, let's be kind, created an entire culture of dependence.
Yes.
In mid-1960s, Daniel Patrick Moynihan, you remember the senator from New York?
Yes.
Before he was a senator, he was a Harvard professor, and he was asked by Lyndon Johnson to find out what was happening in those communities. Why are the black people having difficulty? Yeah. He was a liberal, profound liberal, and believed that when he went there, he would find out the problem was racism and poverty. That's not what he found out. To his surprise, and I think it was the most exhaustive survey they've ever done, or research, that the problem was fatherlessness.
Yeah.
At that point in the black community, before that it was actually better, but at that point in the black community, 25% of the children were being brought up in broken or divorced homes.
Well, what is it
Single
today?
parent homes, okay?
Yeah.
So what did the Democrats do about it? Instead of trying to work on trying to fix that, because that was the problems, that's not what they did. What they did is they created the quote-unquote war on poverty.
Yes.
The war on poverty took a 16-year-old girl who inadvertently had a kid out of wedlock, because, that's not really that huge a thing. I mean, that used to happen all the time.
Yes.
Because young people like being together intimately.
Yep.
It's kind of fun. Anyway, so I digress. So that's not that horrible. But what happened was they decided to fight this with the war on poverty, and they told that young lady, all right, if you have that child, we will give you food stamps. I'm not sure they had food stamps back there, so this is a basic idea. I might not have the specifics correct. Food stamps, we'll give you X number of dollars for every child you have out of wedlock. We'll give you X number of dollars for housing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
And to a 16-year-old girl, that sounds pretty good, like a good deal.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, though. If your boyfriend or if you get married or your husband comes back, it's all gone.
Yes.
Okay, so that's like saying to your child, picture you have children, and Johnny gets his report card and he gets all A's. Susie gets her report card and she gets all F's.
Yeah.
You say, Susie, you need more money to help you get A's. Here's $100 for each F.
Yes.
Johnny says, well, I got straight A's. What's going on? She needs help.
Yeah.
Guess what Johnny's going to get next year?
Yeah.
F's.
Yeah, because he
Okay?
wants the money.
He wants the money.
Yeah.
It's, reward. So you ended up between that and the no-fault divorce, which basically completely flipped the response in the 60s and the 50s and the 40s. The focus of marriage was on raising children.
Yes.
Mommy and daddy's happiness was not that relevant.
Nope.
Your responsibility was to those kids.
Yeah.
If that was inconvenient for you, so what? Suck it up, pretty boy. That's your responsibility.
Yes.
In the 70s, that changed. That changed from the responsibilities are for the children to the responsibility is for me. If I'm not happy, then my kids can't be happy.
That's right.
Which is BS. Your kids have no clue if you're happy.
Yeah, they don't care.
They do not care.
Yeah.
Okay? So by the year 2000, in Washington, D.C., 75% of those children were being brought up in broken and single-parent homes. 75%.
Way too many.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, if you look at our Constitution, it says, I think it was not in the Constitution, John Adams said that this Constitution is made only for, it can only survive in a moral Christian country.
Yes.
The premise of that is that if society controls itself, and it says it actually in our 6th Amendment to the New Hampshire State Constitution, it says it also, society that is self-controlled by its own moral underpinnings requires very little government to control it.
Yes.
Okay? If everybody is doing the right thing,
Yeah.
you don't need cops.
Absolutely.
Okay? But because of the complete breakdown of the family in the black community, you've had profound quantities of violence, and the fact that cops are ending up shooting black children is not really that shocking because they do something like 50% of the murders in the country.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? And it has nothing to do with them being black.
No.
It
It's
has
the upbringing.
everything to do with the fact that the Democrat policies have destroyed the black family. And that's it. If you really want to know what matters, black dads matter.
Yes. Yeah, it does.
That's what they should be protesting. If they really wanted to change things, they should put up signs say black dads matter and make dads responsible for involving themselves with their children, make the women responsible for making sure their husbands are involved, and if their boyfriend or whatever that they're dating is not willing to do that, they shouldn't be dating it.
Absolutely.
Did you know that more children, black children, were aborted
Yes. Yeah.
in New York City than were born in New York City?
Yep. It's a shameful. Well, we did run a minute over, so we have to bail.
Just getting
I
going,
know.
man.
So we'll have you back on because I want to talk about that too.
No, I'm done.
Yeah. But no, next time. We'll have you on. So,
Thanks, John.
yes. Yeah. Thank you for coming on, Gary. I appreciate it. And until next week, have a good day. Bye now.